Natalia was nominated for the Pushcart Prize in 2015 and the Best New Poets Anthology of also 2015. Her book, Parachute, was published by Kelsey Books. She lives in Brooklyn with her husband and 2 daughters. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Wow, it's true, you can't see anything. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for this wonderful venue. I'm really excited to be here. I'm going to read a couple of poems. None of these are from my old collection. They're actually currently looking for a home. Lost in the stars. And we're lost out here in the stars, little stars, big stars, blowing through the night. And we're lost out here in the stars, little stars, big stars, blowing through the night. And we're lost out here in the stars. Lost in the Stars, Kurt Weill, Maxwell Anderson. An Odessan trickster musician in a stylish blazer and aviator sunglasses. He had a penchant for bringing home packs of friends at odd hours of the night. Now he blasts the Russian version of Fox News, eats fried meat every morning, spends countless hours online trying to sell real estate. Barging into my apartment, he always asks for a glass of kvass. He's upset if I run out. I should keep it in stock. I don't ask him for food or drink. I'm 35 and can fend for myself. Instead, I ask him to watch my daughter. A year ago, he left her by herself for hours. I was livid, ignored his half apology. Then I was over it. Having one parent left means you can't afford anger. Now he drives our daughter around our neighborhood without a car seat and buys her vanilla ice cream in the park. Every time now, I wait for the infraction, the fine print at the bottom of every favor. Why do I keep asking? It's good enough that he and my daughter laugh and rhyme together. At night, I hear his insomniac pacing. It's the heavy foods or the midnight tea. He used to power walk back in the USSR, but empty rooms restrict your range. If we run into each other at the cemetery and he says sententious words, she was a rare woman, wasn't she? I think, did he love my mother, or did he just sit through her feasts of golden potatoes, orange borscht, fragrant with beets and garlic? What he truly relished, consumed, was silence, lest the voices of others intrude upon his magisterium. Empty rooms in his house echo the little failures of immigration. On his first day as valet, he crashed someone's car. His real estate partner cheated him. The American dream throbbing in his ear for months turned to a hissing drone. Once I took him to the opera in the bitter cold. In the intermission, he bought us flutes of champagne, floating above the gilded ceiling and the chic black silhouettes of the crowd. His voice rang giddy and pure as he dwelled on a musical joke from Falstaff. He laughed and I laughed, thinking, this is it, this is it. And then we went back into the cold, and the laughter disappeared between the subway cars. Thank you. Theater of Bones. Mama, why do we need bones? What if we didn't? Would we roll through the dark like tiny skin animals and never get to dance? What about that skeleton? He is entirely made of bones. I like my glowing yellow ring. Keep it flashing. It'll ward off the skeletons. They only come in your sleep when you can't hear their limping rattle, see their mouths open and close like the dolls of a Christmas clock. I'm not scared, Mama, but they're watching me with their crimson eyes, drumming in my bed with their knuckles and kneecaps. Once their music reaches me, I'll be like grandma, or worse, turn into one of them and make scary theater for other little girls. So I won't ever go to sleep. I need to lie in the little house Papa made me with the blanket. I don't want to take off my mermaid dress. Am I the prettiest mermaid? I have to put on another skirt to sleep, in case the skeletons are coming. That way they won't know it's me. They'll come for another little girl. I'm afraid of the dark they bring under their tongues and eyelids. Does the dark have elbows? Does it have bones? Can it sleep? This one is called Spectre Garden. I'd give up all poems for a chance to hear my mother's voice, its modulations rich with the grapes of autumn. My mother planted tomatoes and azaleas, black currant and morning glory. In my garden, words crawl into the roots of all she did not plant this year. Words warming their way into the soil of phantom vegetation, letters stamping their rigid forms onto a lily's sinuous coils. Words, parasites clamping onto the wordless. Poems, letters staging insurrection against the wind that robs us of the stars. I told myself to remember her hands. I do. How many other things about her I'll forget. I remember feelings, gestures unbroken by language. Untie the ropes, she said. Something wrestled with her almost tenderly as she felt her body beating against the storm. The sky was breathing inside her. She pulsed forward, carried by many lights writhing into the dark sea, wailing as the wind broke the springs of the heart to inhabit it. Thank you. Hibernation. The heart in hibernation doesn't see or hear. I snorkeled in Hawaii while we watched. The water took me out of time. You're done with living now, and yet your life expands beyond your reach. As a pentimento unearthed 600 years later may reveal a quieter and unfinished Leonardo. The heart in hibernation doesn't see or hear. I close myself, my life, my body to arrive near to air and stone, your burial niche. For a week one summer, your waltzing vowels, snarls of admonishment, stayed muffled in your throat. You had a cold. When you could speak again, you overpowered children shouting deep within their games. After a year, your silence stuns me. I'm straining still after a distant sound, as if your voice is only heard on special frequency. The heart in hibernation doesn't see or hear. You told me that you won't forget this year, but what's remembering to you now? A child watches the lights slide across a pane of glass, then disappear. A tree sleeps, spreading its roots deeper into the earth. I realize that these are not the most cheerful poems, so I'll end with some more uplifting ones. Waking from the frost. As soon as they're born, you're beginning to let go. You wish you could take all their pain. Instead, you watch them like a stunned mirror that records every mistake. You wish you could tell them about friendship. Someone always takes the lead. There are hidden sweets, parting, despair. You wish that you could tell them about love, not that it doesn't last, but that while it does, its hues settle on your skin like a house cat, always ready to leap to a warmer cushion a softer bed. Oh, love, the bread you knead daily and nightly and bake with a fine crust, the bread they finger distractedly and throw to the birds when you're not looking. You wish you could say, a parent is just a child, often without a mother, often confused as you are but unwilling to cry because the trees bloom and at dusk the path gleams with petals and the day finally has enough light. You won't tell them anything. The child holding your hand plays at the myriad worlds where wisdom is reborn as a flower. The baby in your arms gazes at life as if it already knows. Thank you. This is my latest poem. It's indeed about the baby, and it's called Nadia. Nadia, a knot of silk, a flower turned inside out, a wind moist and glistening. She pushed herself into this world in half a breath. In half a breath, she swung into a fury of sound, tender, sharp as the brittle edge of a star. I didn't feel it as pain, but as possession. As she lay in her bassinet, her eyes the fierce blue of mountain lakes, hair fox red, I felt a sadness for the finality of it all. No more heart breathing beneath my own, no more night tremors I strained to interpret as runes of a future temperament. But she drinks from me with resolve and furrowed brow. She is not fragile, and in her stillness, I see a freeze frame of our lives revolving slowly in each other's orbit, hovering over the tired earth, moving onward with the wind, the light. Thank you very much.